Psychology has a strange way of revealing what we hide behind love stories. Ever wondered why some people keep changing partners again and again, searching, chasing, never settling? It's not always lust. It's not always selfishness. Sometimes it's pain wearing a smile. These are people trapped between longing and fear, longing to be loved and fear of being seen. They crave connection, but every time someone gets close enough to touch their scars, they vanish. They don't run from love, they run from the mirror that love holds up to them. But here's the twist: this pattern isn't a curse, it's a call to heal what the past broke, a call to replace the thrill of escape with the courage to stay. Because real happiness, the kind that lasts, isn't found in a new partner, it's found in a new mindset. So if you've ever been that person or loved that person, remember, your story isn't about how many times you began again. It's about the moment you finally stopped running, because that's where healing begins, and that's where love finally becomes real. Psychology has a strange way of revealing our deepest hungers we don't even know we carry. The person who keeps changing partners isn't necessarily chasing love, they're chasing proof. Every new face, every new conversation, every new "you're different" becomes a mirror that reflects back the one thing they desperately crave: validation. It's not love they're addicted to, it's the feeling of being seen. The moment that feeling fades, panic sets in. Silence between texts starts to sound like rejection, and the warmth of familiarity turns cold, suffocating, so they run. Again, each relationship becomes an audition for worthiness, a silent test that says, will you still choose me if you see the real me? And when the answer feels uncertain, they change the script, the setting, and the co-star. Deep down, they aren't leaving people. They're escaping the terrifying possibility that no one's love will ever be enough to fill the void inside. The tragedy? They keep searching for a mirror that can reflect what only self-acceptance can create. This is not a story of romance, it's a psychological loop of survival dressed up as attraction. The partner changer isn't heartless. They're heart-hungry, trapped in a cycle of seeking the love they've never learned to give themselves. Psychology exposes a brutal truth. Some people don't fear being unloved, they fear being known. The partner changer often runs, not because love ends, but because love starts to see them too closely. The moment someone gets near enough to touch their scars, they disappear. They crave intimacy yet panic when it arrives. It's the emotional version of standing at the edge of a cliff, wanting to fly but terrified of falling. They tell themselves they're searching for the right person, but what they're truly doing is protecting themselves from emotional exposure. When a relationship begins to demand vulnerability, real conversations, emotional accountability, raw truth, they shut down. They feel trapped, suffocated, like their heart is being dissected under a microscope. The safest escape? A new partner, a fresh beginning where they can wear the mask again, flawless and untouchable. Each breakup becomes a clever act of self-defense disguised as choice. But psychology doesn't lie. This constant avoidance isn't about others failing them, it's about them fearing the collapse of their carefully constructed image. Deep inside, they equate closeness with danger and love with loss. So they flee from what they crave most, leaving behind confused partners and unfinished stories, haunted by the terrifying idea that real love might actually expose who they truly are. Psychology reveals an unsettling paradox. The partner changer isn't chasing love, they're chasing dopamine. The thrill of someone new feels electric, intoxicating, almost holy. Every high, every touch, every spark of attraction floods their brain like a drug. But it's not love, it's chemistry wearing love's perfume. They mistake excitement for connection, butterflies for belonging. And when that chemical high fades, boredom slithers in like a silent enemy. They start to believe something's wrong with the relationship, when in reality it's their own craving for novelty whispering lies in their ear. They don't realize they're trapped in a psychological slot machine, pulling the lever again and again, hoping the next new person will hit the jackpot of eternal thrill. But the pattern is ruthless. The high always fades, and emptiness always returns. It's not the partner that disappoints them, it's the human brain recalibrating to normalcy. Yet they can't stand normal, it feels like loss. So they chase again. This cycle doesn't just destroy relationships, it destroys identity. Because when you keep starting over, you never truly arrive anywhere. Every goodbye becomes proof that peace is impossible, and every new beginning becomes another hit of a drug that never satisfies. The tragedy? They call it love, but it's just psychological withdrawal dressed as passion. Psychology whispers a haunting secret. Sometimes the partner changer isn't escaping people, they're escaping their past. The constant search for new love is often an unconscious replay of old pain, a silent echo of what was once broken. The child who grew up unseen, unloved, or betrayed learns a dangerous lesson early on. That love never lasts. That safety is an illusion. So as an adult, when someone gets too close, their brain screams, "Run." Every time a relationship starts to feel real, it triggers the same fear that once protected them. Leave before you're left. They think they're making choices in the present, but psychology reveals they're obeying ghosts from the past. The fear of abandonment turns into self-sabotage. They end things before anyone else can. Their partners see instability, but what's really happening is trauma playing out in disguise. The smiles, the charm, the intense beginnings, all masks for a terrified child hiding inside an adult body. They don't trust love because love once betrayed them. So they repeat the cycle, hoping this time it'll end differently. But it never does. Every new partner becomes a stage where old wounds perform the same tragic act. And the cruelest part? They call it freedom, but it's really fear wearing confidence like armor. Psychology unmasks a chilling reality. Many partner changers aren't following desire. They're following a script society quietly wrote for them. We live in a culture that worships the new and mocks the stable. Movies glorify the spark of first kisses, but never show the quiet work of staying. Social media turns relationships into performances, where love is measured in likes and attention spans shrink faster than emotions can grow. The partner changer becomes a product of this conditioning, trained to believe that excitement equals happiness, and comfort means something's dying. They start to crave the high of beginnings, the adrenaline of uncertainty, the validation of being wanted again. Commitment begins to feel like confinement because the world around them celebrates freedom over depth. They're not just breaking hearts, they're mirroring a generation terrified of permanence. In a culture that tells you there's always someone better, loyalty feels outdated, almost foolish. The tragedy is that they confuse abundance of choice with abundance of love. Psychology warns that this endless pursuit of more leaves the soul starved, because when everything is replaceable, nothing feels real anymore. The partner changer isn't always a villain. They're often the perfect reflection of a society that taught them to chase connection, but never taught them how to keep it. Psychology exposes a brutal but beautiful truth. Healing begins the moment the partner changer stops running. For years, they've chased faces, names and promises, believing the next person will finally fix the emptiness inside. But the void never leaves, because it doesn't live outside them. It's buried within. The pattern only breaks when they turn inward, when they dare to confront the silence they've been escaping. Gratitude becomes the first spark of transformation, not for new people, but for lessons learned from old wounds. In the beginning, it feels like withdrawal. No new thrill, no new validation, just stillness. And that stillness terrifies them. But psychology reveals that this is the moment the brain rewires, when they choose to stay, to breathe through the discomfort, to love without fleeing. They begin to experience a deeper kind of happiness. Not the burning high of novelty, but the steady warmth of growth. The secret isn't finding the perfect partner, it's becoming the person who no longer needs to run. Healing doesn't come through another heart, it comes through finally facing their own. The partner changer's greatest act of rebellion is learning the one art they've avoided their entire life, staying. Because sometimes the most shocking transformation is realizing that peace was never in a new face, it was always in their own reflection. At the heart of it all, the story of a partner changer is not about broken promises, it's about broken patterns. It's the silent war between the fear of being hurt and the hunger to be loved. Psychology doesn't judge these people, it understands them, because beneath every repeated goodbye is an untold story, a wound that never got the chance to heal. But here's the power in awareness. Once we understand why we run, we gain the courage to stop. Healing begins when we choose presence over escape, growth over thrill, and peace over chaos. The true victory isn't finding the perfect partner, it's becoming whole enough to love without fear. To everyone listening, if you've been running, may this be the moment you pause, breathe, and begin again, differently this time. Because love, at its deepest, isn't about changing people, it's about changing patterns. Good luck on your journey of self-discovery and emotional growth. May you find not just love, but the strength to stay when it finds you. Thank you for listening, with your mind, your heart, and your courage, to understand what most people never dare to face.